All right, well, welcome to An Entrepreneur's Guide to Accelerating Your Business. And I want to welcome everyone that is on Facebook Live with us today. Really glad that you're here. Also, for everyone that is with us on Zoom, I can see you guys, which I'm thrilled with. That just makes me feel warm and fuzzy. So really glad that everyone is here. There are a few things that you need to know as we get going today. First is this, especially if you're on Facebook Live, it is really important for this particular workshop to download the guidebook for this talk today. And you can find that at impactguidebook.com, impactguidebook.com, all run together. I also put that in the comments in Facebook. For everyone in Zoom as well, welcome, Drew. I'm glad you're here. You can also go to impactguidebook.com. I know that Jenna sent that earlier. Also today, for those of you that are on Zoom, I would love to just be fielding your questions even as we go today. There's going to be a 5-stage process that we're talking through, and so it's very likely that you're going to have questions in every stage. And so I would encourage you to just be putting those questions into the chat box, and Jenna will certainly be looking at those and kind of fielding those questions to me. For those of you on Facebook, you can put your questions or your thoughts in the comments box, and then I have a link here. It's a little far from my eyes right now, but I can see any questions and comments that are coming in through on Facebook as well. Also, just want to let you know that at the end of our session today, you're going to have the chance to gain access to a free bonus resource. But here's the key: you need to stay through all the way. Number one, it won't make sense if I were to just give it to you. Number two, it's the resource that's going to get you going. It is your next action step coming out of our topic today on An Entrepreneur's Guide to Accelerating Your Business. Also, just want to let you know up front, I have made myself available to bring on 3 businesses that are ready to create and implement a uniquely crafted impact strategy for their business. And of course, that's what we're going to be talking about today. But here's the key to that. That is a highly curated group of 3. Like, we need to make sure that it is a win for you and a win for this program and for me. So at the end, I'm just going to open it up and give you a chance for us to set up a call, because I just want to learn about your business, who you are, what you're about, the passions that drive you and your company, and the difference you're trying to make in the world. And from there, we can see, you know what? Should you be one of those 3 businesses that I come alongside and help you, guide you right through this process of creating an impact strategy that accelerates your business? Well, with that, I want to say thank you to Sarah, Jenna, and Scott of JS Realty of Sampson Properties in Northern Virginia for hosting now a 3rd week of workshops. We've been on quite a journey together. I have absolutely loved this. And as Sarah and I were talking about a little bit earlier, this particular workshop I am super excited about. Like, the other 2 I'm passionate about. This is a next level of passion for me when it comes to working with companies and mobilizing them, inspiring them, and giving them the tools they need, not only to accelerate business, but to make a difference in the communities they serve, to make a difference in their customers' lives and their employees' lives, and ultimately draw people into a greater purpose. And we're going to talk about all of that. And Sarah and Jenna, Scott, what I love about JS Realty is that this is the heart of your business. We met, I think, 7 years ago, sat down over coffee. Was it 7?
It's been a while, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sat down over coffee together and started dreaming what an impact strategy, we didn't have those words back then, but what an impact strategy could look like in your company. And my goodness, between the work that you've done with our organization, Generosity Feeds, and you've done with so many other nonprofits, it's just remarkable to see the impact that you are making in other people's lives. And so personally, I just want to say thank you for being a company that uses really individuals, but your company, you're using your business, your company as a platform for good, to change people's lives. And I personally deeply appreciate it. So Sarah, thank you. And I'll kind of turn it over to you here as you introduce where we're headed today.
Yeah, you're welcome, Ron. And I've said it before and I'll say it again today. We learned, I think we thought we were helping Generosity Feeds in the very beginning, but really what happened is Scott and I just learned an immense amount from you and all of your team members about how to efficiently execute, supporting your community and all the tools and resources that you taught us about. And I just love how organized it all was and seamless. So we couldn't have done it without each other, right? We needed each other through the process.
Right.
And I think we've done a great job. And it's really wonderful to have you back on today again. We're enjoying this series as well. I've learned so much throughout the process again. And I'm excited for today. I mean, as a business owner, I'm always looking to accelerate our business. How can we grow? How do we support our community? And how do we support our team on the back end? So I'm excited as we move forward today and talk about your guide for teaching us as entrepreneurs how to accelerate our business and become more involved in our community. So I will pass it right back on to you and have you get us started.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. And this is largely targeted today towards entrepreneurs. And yet, if you're in the room with us and you're a business leader or you've acquired a company or you're an executive at a company, you need to know that these principles apply. The starting point might be slightly different, but all the principles apply. And so here's what I know about you today. You're here today as an entrepreneur, as a business leader, because you're looking to solve a problem. The world's greatest businesses are always working to solve people's problems, make people's lives better with a new product or service. The other thing I know about you is that you're driven by passion. You envision a better future and you're intrinsically motivated and driven to create that future. And as your ideas take life and your company grows, here's what I also know. You will become a driving force in adding value to others and shaping healthy communities across America if, and this is the biggie, if you're a giver, not a taker. Now, what I want us to do as we're starting off here is I want us to name a few, I'm going to name a few companies, and I want you to identify if you think these companies are givers or takers. Now, the way that we're going to do this, and even those of you that are on Facebook that I can't see, I want you to physically get involved in this, okay? So what you're going to do is this. Is that if you think the company I name is a giver, you just put a hand up like this, a flat hand up, right? They're a giver, all right? If you think the company is a taker, I want you to put a fist up, all right? They're a taker. So giver, taker. All right, so let me give you the first one. Start with some easy ones maybe. Let's go with this one, Chick-fil-A. Giver or taker? Okay, so we have several hands. Drew, you've got to get involved in this, dude. You can't just sit there with your hand down. All right, so giver. A lot of people are saying Chick-fil-A is a giver. That's exactly what I would say. And I'm not going to tip my hand on these, right? So you guys go ahead and go. Here's the next one, Wells Fargo. Getting tougher, aren't you? Okay. A lot of takers, all right? How about the next one? McDonald's. Yeah, we're going to talk about McDonald's in just a minute. I see a lot of takers on McDonald's, and yet interesting story there. So we're going to talk about that. How about Whole Foods before the Amazon takeover? Before the takeover. Okay, Whole Foods. Yeah, and that one's really mixed, I see. All right. Okay, how about let's go after the takeover now. How about Amazon? Giver or taker? Ah, I see both, right? Okay, it can be mixed. So here's what's interesting about this, is that your answers would likely change based on when in the company's history I asked you the question. You see, most businesses set out, like you and me, to solve a problem and improve customers' lives. But as we saw with all the fists that went up for different companies that I just named, it doesn't always remain that way, which makes me wonder, is a company that starts out good destined to end up with a room full of fists? Fortunately, the answer to that question is no. Think about it this way. When McDonald's, told you I was going to come back to them, when McDonald's started, they weren't trying to become the poster child for obesity in America. I mean, they really were they were trying to solve a problem. Think about Bank of America. Bank of America didn't set out to become the linchpin, or known as the linchpin, of the 2008 housing crisis. That's not where they began. They began with solving a problem and working to make people's lives better. It's where virtually every business begins. We see a problem, and then we go out to meet that problem, which means, because of all the fists we saw, which means businesses over time eventually or often become something they didn't intend to be. Which again makes me wonder, are our businesses, is your business and my business doomed to repeat this pattern? Well, the good news here is no. We have the opportunity to break the pattern and never have a fist up against us. We have the opportunity this year, 3 years from now, 10 years from now, when people are asked this question, to go, no, JS Realty is a giver. No, Microsoft is a giver. No, your company by name is a giver. And here's the interesting thing. Our culture more than ever is longing for us to break the pattern. In fact, in a recent survey, 87% of young Americans said that businesses should do more than just make money. In another survey, 66% of consumers said they're willing to pay extra for products and services that come from companies who are committed to positive social environmental impact. Our culture wants us as business leaders to break the negative pattern. They don't want to give us the fist. They want to see us as givers. So the question for you and I, and what we're going to be answering through this process now, is how do we break this negative pattern? Well, I think there's a wonderful example to follow. In 2007, the far-thinking owners and executives of the Mars Corporation, think the Mars candy bar, right? The Mars Corporation asked this particular question. They asked, what is the right level of profit for our corporation? Now, this is a profound question considering it came from the president and top shareholder of the company. After initial analysis and consideration, the board of directors concluded that the answer couldn't simply be about fair distribution of dividends or even the relationship between growth and profits. They had to move beyond the narrow financial performance metrics used by most businesses today and instead consider the holistic value, how do I word that? Consider the holistic value businesses have to create for people, planet, and profit. In other words, they're saying it's not about just making money. It's about now using the money we make to begin to transform people's lives, transform communities, and ultimately transform economies. Which begs the question, what would cause Mars' top shareholder to ask what the right level of profit is for his corporation? The answer boils down to one statement. Pursuing profits alone doesn't fulfill the longings of the human heart for our customers or for ourselves. In other words, profit alone doesn't create value. Our customers and employees are looking for you and for me to do more than just make money. They want us to add value to their lives and to their communities. They want us to create value beyond profit. They want us to use our businesses as a platform for good, as a force for good that elevates humanity. Now, if we're to break the negative pattern of business, we must create impact strategies for our companies that value people, planet, and profit, which leads to the question that we're answering in this workshop today. How do you create an impact strategy unique to your people, passions, and product that accelerates your business? Now, what we're referring to as an impact strategy is sometimes referred to as corporate social responsibility, community outreach, community service, community impact, conscious capitalism, philanthropic strategy, sustainability, shared value. There are all sorts of titles around this concept of impact strategy. What I want you to know is that for our purposes today, we're going to refer to them, however you normally do is fine, but for our purposes today, we're going to refer to them as an impact strategy. Now, here's the key to any great impact strategy. It isn't something that you do on the side of your business. In other words, it isn't a business accessory or a business add-on. When properly formed and integrated, your impact strategy actually informs your business decisions, engages your communities, and provides a higher purpose for your people and profit. Now, last week, we were in another workshop that I was teaching called How to Bring Meaning into Your Work. And that was all about the employee and what they needed to do to infuse meaning into their work. Today, we're looking at it from the other end. What can your business do to help your employees and your customers live a higher purpose with you? You see, people want to help people. People want to be generous. People want to work with and purchase from companies committed to social and environmental good. Incorporating an impact strategy that aligns with your people, passion, and product and profit will empower the capacity of your team members to do several things. One, attract new talent, attract new customers, attract new ideas, and attract new capabilities. Why? Because they're living from their passion, not from a to-do list or a job. All because this all happens because people are attracted to meaning and purpose. And this is exactly what your impact strategy will give you, your employees, and your customers. A meaningful purpose, a purpose that goes beyond profits, a purpose that, as I've recently read, could be framed as this, a profitable solution. But again, it's about taking care of the needs of people in the context of community. Let me give you a backstory. Over the last 10 years, our team with the Replenish Foundation has empowered over 600 businesses, 65,000 volunteers as a force for good. We've worked with companies including Microsoft, Volkswagen, Mod Pizza, Nectar Sunglasses, and yes, JS Realty. So JS Realty, thank you again for hosting today. And many, many more. I certainly can't name them all. Collectively, these and other impact-minded businesses are rebuilding their communities, their companies, and the future economy on the shoulders of generosity. Now, I want you to just take a moment and imagine something with me for one moment. Imagine this with me. Imagine what it will feel like to wake up in a world where every business you interact with every day has an impact strategy that is solving a social, cultural, or environmental issue. So my question on this dream is this: as this happens, how will your life, your community, and your business be better? Well, the reality is this: we don't have to wait for this to happen. It's already beginning to happen. The wave is on the horizon. And here's what's going to happen to you. As a business leader, you are either going to ride the wave or you are going to get pummeled by the wave. Now, here's the great news, though. You don't have to be afraid of the wave. Within 90 days, you can create and implement an impact strategy that accelerates your business. In other words, in 90 days, you can catch the wave. And let me tell you this, from all the companies that we've worked with and what I get to do through the Replenish Foundation and other things that I do, riding the wave is a load of fun. So more than anything, I want you to catch this wave, and we can do this together in the next 90 days. Now, with this reality in front of us, we're going to dive into the 5-stage process that you need for creating an impact strategy that puts you on the list of great leaders and companies who are using their business to elevate humanity. So with that, let's dive in. Stage 1 is the discover stage. And hopefully you're tracking with me in your guidebook. You've printed that off or you have it next to the screen, next to where I'm talking here. But stage 1 is the discover stage. Now, when Sean, I want to introduce Sean, when Sean founded Nectar Sunglasses, he was wise enough to know that his company needed a greater purpose. And like most of us in the room today, he wanted to use his business as a platform for good. So he decided to save the bees. The problem was there was no desire or passion in his company or with his employees or customers to save the bees. And so you're probably going, well, why in the world would Sean decide to save the bees if he and his company and his people had no passion about saving the bees? Well, it's simple. Because their name is Nectar, and bees collect nectar. Now, while they were doing good by saving the bees with their impact investment, it was doing nothing to inspire their team members, their customers, or their investors to a higher purpose. Why? Because their hearts weren't in it. What they were doing, while it was good, wasn't aligned with their passion. This is a common mistake that business owners and leaders often make. They just kind of go after what seems easy or what they think might align without really diving into what their passions are. And if they choose it on their passions, oftentimes they don't consider the passions of their employees or even the passions of their customers. The key here is to look at the passion of all three and then overlay them and find the continuity between those passions and those values, and then together make an impact. Together script a higher purpose for your company. So again, coming back, very common mistake they make. They fail to strategically align their passion, people, product, and profit into a higher purpose that maximizes their social and environmental impact. As a result, their employees are left uninspired and longing for deeper meaning instead of using their work to elevate humanity through business. Now, in this discover stage, we're going to clarify your passions, your employees' passions, your customers' passions, and resources towards forming a higher purpose that inspires your employees, engages your customers, and accelerates your business to achieve more. So at this point, you're probably wondering, well, how do we do this? I'm sold, I'm in, how do we do this? Well, at the end of the workshop today, I told you that I'm going to have some free bonus resources for you, and I'm going to talk about them right now. Here's what I'm going to give you at the end. It's critical that you take our gap assessment. Through the gap assessment, you're going to identify the gap between where you are and where you want to be in positioning your company as a force for good. The gap assessment sets you up then for a second assessment that is going to give you the insight you need for closing the gap. Again, gap assessment is where are you? Where do you want to be? How do we close that gap? That's what the second resource does. Second resource is our impact resource assessment. In this second assessment, it's going to inform you of the values and passions that inspire your employees and customers while identifying available resources for fueling your impact strategy. Simply, the second assessment identifies where you're going. So the first one is where are you? The second assessment is where are you going? Where do you want to end up? And then in all of this, these assessments are going to give you the insights you need from your customers, your employees, and yourself, your leadership team, to determine how to get there. Because if you know where you are and you know where you want to go and you don't have a plan, which we're going to talk about next, you're dead in the water. Dead in the water. So those are the first two resources you need. You need the gap assessment. Take the gap assessment. As soon as you send that assessment, I'm going to send you the second assessment, again, free to you for being part of this workshop today. Take the second assessment, and then that's going to set us up for a phone call so that I can learn more about your company and we can explore the possibility of my guiding you through the rest of the process so you're not making it up on your own. But even today, through the workshop, I'm going to give you the rest of the process. So these two assessments, again, are going to guide you to discover your company's greater purpose and provide the foundation needed for creating an impact strategy that is uniquely crafted to your passions, people, profit, and product. Okay, so I want us to go back and remember this. Remember, pursuing profits alone doesn't fulfill the longings of the human heart. When done well, your impact strategy, empowered by your people, passions, profits, and product, will inspire your customers, employees, and investors to fulfill a greater purpose with you. That's the key. You're building relationship through this. It will fulfill the longings of their hearts and ultimately turn them into raving fans of your brand. Now, with stage one complete, we can move on to stage two, the design stage. And this, honestly, this is where the fun really begins. The design stage is like putting together plans for your dream home. I mean, just imagine, and especially from real estate background, people love dreaming about their dream home. It's just fun, and they write down their ideas, and dreams are perfect, which makes the design stage so fun. So in this stage, it's all about creating your impact blueprint, which is going to do three things for you. It's going to save you time, it's going to increase your business opportunities, and it's going to maximize your impact investments. Recently, I met with a highly philanthropic CEO. In fact, she had just invested $50,000 of company money her company money into a local impact initiative that she knew virtually nothing about. So you're probably going, why in the world would someone invest that kind of money into an initiative in their community that they didn't know much about? Well, it's simple. Because it felt good and she could. So I asked her, I said, every time you open up a store somewhere in the country, it costs you approximately $500,000 to do that. I'd imagine you have a detailed investment strategy with measurable ROIs to make sure that you're going to get your money back on that investment. Am I right? She looked me in the eyes and she goes, of course I have that. But I wouldn't be successful if I didn't have that. Well, of course. So then I asked her, I looked at her and I said, well, because you're such a generous person, I would imagine that over the next year, your company is going to probably invest $100,000 or so into local social impact projects. This being the case, do you have an equally robust strategy for your charitable investments as you do for your business investments? Her answer was priceless. Oh, I get your point. And yet, she's not alone in that. We've all done that. Something comes along, it's like, yeah, I guess I'll do that, but there's no strategy behind it. We don't even know what the results are going to be. It just feels good, we do it. Too many companies are doing that. And as a result, they're throwing money away and they're not even seeing how that money necessarily is making a difference in other people's lives. Not to mention that when they turn that investment and actually bring their philanthropic strategy, their impact strategy into and align it with their business strategy, guess what? It helps accelerate the business. So when business leaders fail to apply the same level of fiscal responsibility to their company's charitable investments as they do to their profit-making investments, it depreciates the value of their time, money, and opportunity. Simply stated, passion without plans won't sail. So in the second stage, we're putting a plan around your passions and letting them sail by designing a uniquely crafted impact strategy that, again, integrates into your business strategy. Remember, it's not an add-on. It's integrated into your business strategy in a way that inspires your employees, engages your customers, and helps accelerate your business. So now I need to ask you this question. Does your company apply the same fiscal diligence to charitable investments as you do to business investments? Has your business developed an impact strategy that increases customer engagement and employee satisfaction? Have you embedded an impact strategy into your company's culture, product, and growth? Now, if not, you're not alone. More and more companies are doing this, but many haven't yet. So if not, then here's what you need to do. You need to implement the steps of stage 1 and 2, especially the design stage. Then what's going to happen through stage 2 is you're going to come out the other end with a blueprint for your social and environmental investments. I would imagine that by now you're probably wondering, just a second here, you're probably wondering at this point, how do we create our blueprint? Well, it's a simple 4-step process, all right? Simple 4-step process. The first thing you're going to create is an impact team. Now, what I want you to do, even those of you on Facebook, raise your hand if you would like to live with more margin with time. Oh, okay, all right. I thought that might be the case. Most everyone's going, yeah, sign me up for more margin. This is why in stage 2, we begin with building an impact team. It's because as a business leader, you don't need something else to do. You need margin. Now, depending on the size of your company, this team can come from your staff, your customers, your community, or a combination of all three. What we're going to say is, we don't want you to do everything. We don't think you should. And so it's totally okay for you to even build a team that isn't made up of any employees, but you're sitting with that team and you're working with them and they're working to help accelerate your business and accelerate the investments that you can make in being a force for good. Second thing, your impact team will be empowered to design your impact priorities. Now, a lot of this information comes out of stage 1 with the assessments that we're running. The key here is formulating the information from those assessments into clear impact priorities. Okay, third step, the impact team is then going to plan future impact programs that flow out of your impact priorities. These programs will engage your employees, customers, and investors into your greater purpose. Now, I think I know what you're thinking. Some of you in the room are going, how in the world am I going to have time to run programs when I'm trying to run a business? Same for my employees. How do we do this? So I'm going to foreshadow here into the next stage, and we're going to talk about this more in a moment, but here's the answer to this. This is where your nonprofit business partners come in. They're going to be the ones taking most of the work. They're going to start running these programs for you because you're right, you need to stay focused on your business. Fourth step in stage 2 is this. The impact team is then going to develop a comprehensive impact strategy in the framework of a 12-month impact timeline. Now, because I know you're curious, here's a sample impact timeline written for a smaller company. The larger your company, the more robust this will likely become. So I'm having a really hard time seeing this on my screen. I know it's small, it's probably small for you too. But the idea is this, in this particular company, I'm going to go off the top of my head as much as possible here. In this particular company, in January, they did kind of a give back sales program. Then in March, in March, they did a fundraiser with their business partners for a charity. Okay, but this is a time, again, to build relationships outside of a business transaction. Then in, June, they did another sales push that was going to be a give back program. Then in August, they did an impact project with their employees and customers. When was the last time you heard of a company inviting their customers to serve with them? Oh, other than JS Realty, because they've done generosity feeds, right? So this is where you start building a relationship with your customers. Then in October, they went back into another sales process that was going to be a give back program. And then December, they wanted to do a Christmas party, but they wanted the party to have a purpose. So they did their Christmas party with an impact project included in it. They lost nothing. In fact, it was a net gain because their people were like, good, we're finally spending money on something than just us, right? So highly meaningful. Now, as you work through stage 2, I want you to remember, designing an impact strategy that aligns with your people, passion, and product will empower the capacity of your team members to attract new talent, new customers, new ideas, and new capabilities. This occurs because we have clarified your company's greater purpose, a purpose beyond profit with profitable solutions, and developed a plan that is birthed from the shared values of your stakeholders. Now, with stage 2 complete, we can move to stage 3. The alignment stage. Now, when our team from the Replenish Foundation began working with Mod Pizza years ago, they were partnered with over 200 nonprofits. Imagine that. It was an accounting and management nightmare with no consistent storyline. Think about this. How do you even begin to measure the impact or tell your impact story when you work with over 200 nonprofits? The answer is you don't. Quickly, Mod narrowed their focus to a few great nonprofits and built mutually beneficial relationships with these carefully vetted organizations. Now, here's the challenge that we all face. There are over 1.5 million nonprofits in the United States led by passionate people, lovely people, who largely suck at business. which makes it really hard to find a great nonprofit to work with. But here's the key. The key to aligning the key here is to do this. It's to align great businesses that have the heart of a nonprofit, that's you, with great nonprofits that have the mind of a business. Now, I know what you're thinking. How in the world do we do this? How do we go about finding great nonprofits? Well, here's the 6-point checklist you need for vetting potential nonprofit partners. I'm just going to go through these quickly because this is kind of an aside to our topic today. The first is transparency. They will make their financials readily available upon you asking if they're not on their website for you to just go get. Second, relationship. They're going to care more about having a mutually beneficial relationship with you than they're interested in your money or in what you can do for them. 3, communication. They will respond quickly to you while providing monthly or quarterly impact reports. Next, resources. They will provide resources for advancing your sales, marketing, and employee satisfaction while helping implement your impact strategy. In other words, you don't do it all. They do it with you, okay? Then the next is vision and values. Those go together. They will align with your values and be committed to helping advance your vision, your purpose, your greater purpose. And the last is this, scoreboard. They will scoreboard the progress your people, product, profit, and products are making in other people's lives. It's why you partnered with them. You partnered with them to change people's lives and change communities. They've got to give you the results. Now, once we have found, that's step 1, once we have found great nonprofit partners, the next step in this stage is that we're going to develop the key performance indicators that you need to measure the results of your impact priorities from the previous stage. This will empower your employees and customers to see and feel the impact of your investments. Then we're going to build your KPIs and measurements into the third step, which is your impact dashboard. Now, your impact dashboard is one, if not your primary outward-facing communication tool. One Hope Wine provides a great example of a highly functional impact dashboard. Thanks for putting that up, Jen. I really appreciate that. This is just one page from their website of the impact that they're making. And as you can see across the top, they're involved in what, eight or nine different types of initiatives. And then in each of those categories, they're working with nonprofits so they can have a huge impact. This is front and center on their website. It's telling the story of how every bottle of wine you buy is changing someone's life and changing a community and helping raise people to a higher level. I mean, think about how much would something like this benefit your company if you could be telling this story about the good that you're doing? This is what gets worked into your impact strategy. It's so critical to tell your story. Let me give you another example. This comes out of the nonprofit that I lead, the Replenish Foundation. This is one of the reports that we've given to our national partners across the country so that they can see and share the impact that they're making. This is from 2000 and what? I think it's 18. Well, last year, the story that got told is that to date, we have empowered over 68,000 volunteers to create over 3 million meals to help sustain 170,000 children across America struggling with food insecurity. And then you can see the growth of the company in the time that we've existed. And again, our national partners get to take this and put this on their web pages in their marketing so that they can tell the story of the good they are doing in this partnership. It's powerful because now your customers see you as a human being. They see you for who you really are. They see the alignment that they have with you at a values level. And what do you think they're more likely to do when that happens? Yep, buy from you. So that's where the acceleration starts to come in. All right, with stage 3 complete, we can now move to stage 4, the implementation stage. Now this stage comes with more great news. You can implement, and I've said this once before, you can implement your new impact strategy within 90 days of beginning stage 1. And again, when we're done with the workshop, I'm going to give you that first assessment so that today can be day 1. So you're probably wondering, what do you need me to do? What do we need to do to implement my impact strategy? There are 4 steps in the implementation stage, and they're simply this. The first is we're going to secure your nonprofit partnerships that were vetted in the previous stage. So the previous stage, we were vetting nonprofits for you. In this stage, we're securing them. We're actually making it more official. These are your 1, 2, 3, or 4 nonprofits that you're partnering with, and we're striking that relationship. Second, we're going to finalize your impact timeline with your new nonprofit partners. Keeping in mind, when you align with great nonprofits, they will work they will work with your impact team and do a large amount of the planning for you and set the stage for your success. Okay? This is what gives you the margin we were talking about earlier. Now, here's the beauty of this. You need to stay focused on running your business. They need to stay focused on changing people's lives. You take the best that you have to offer with the resources that you're generating through the for-profit sector. You partner with a nonprofit, a great nonprofit who knows how to use those resources to change people's lives, and it becomes your shared story. The nonprofit actually starts doing work for you. It's a beautiful partnership when done right. Third, in this stage, we're going to mobilize your employees, customers, vendors, and investors, in other words, your stakeholders, all of your stakeholders, to serve and participate in your company's greater purpose. Again, this shouldn't just be about a transaction and selling product. This is about building a relationship that's transformational. You're transforming people's lives because of your product and because of your services and because of your product, because you love people and you're tapping into their passions. This is where you strengthen relationships by uniting people in a common cause. And then fourth, we're going to integrate marketing solutions to tell the story of your vision and values at work. That's where the dashboard comes back. That's where these nonprofits should be telling you the stories of people's changed lives. And you begin telling those stories through your marketing. Now, as you can complete the steps in stage 4, your uniquely crafted impact strategy comes to life to inspire your employees, customers, and investors into a greater purpose that turns them again into raving fans of your brand. Now, with stage 4 complete, we can move to the final stage, stage 5, the refine stage. And we're not going to spend much time here. You'll understand why in just a second. This is where your impact team does 3 things. 1, they track and refine your KPIs. Second, they fine-tune the impact strategy as needed. And 3, they report back to you and your executive team, if you have one, to gain new insights and guidance. In other words, you're not removed from this system just for it to run out there. This is your money. These are your employees. This is your company. You need to be, in an ongoing way, providing guidance and insight to your team so that you make sure that they are accomplishing your shared priorities, that they are making sure that they are living your shared passions. through your impact strategy. Okay, so the refine stage is where growth happens. Now, as we implement this 5-stage process, you will see your new impact strategy exactly for what it is, an opportunity. Your impact strategy is an opportunity to inspire your employees to deeper meaning in their work. It's an opportunity to engage your customers in a higher purpose. It's an opportunity to shape the health of your communities. It's an opportunity to make people's lives better. It's an opportunity to elevate humanity, an opportunity to position your business as a force for good. And ultimately, it's an opportunity that accelerates your business. Well, as I promised at the very beginning, you are going to leave here today with free bonus, not for free bonus resources. And you can look at and see that on the screen there. So what you need to do, this is your next action item. When we're off the workshop today, here's what you need to do. First thing you do, go to takethegap.assessment.com. Go to takethegap.assessment.com. It's going to take you 3 minutes to fill out that first assessment, and you're going to know exactly where you're at in this journey. You're going to gain incredible insight, and our team is going to send that back to you, and that's going to give you a link to the second assessment, which is going to help you identify your impact resources. All right. So the second one is an assessment for identifying your impact resources. I won't go into that. You can re-listen to this if you need to know exactly what that is again. So that's the free bonus resource that you get to walk away with today. And again, through this workshop, I've just opened up 3 spots for 3 business leaders or businesses that are ready to create and implement a uniquely crafted impact strategy for their business. So here's what we need to do. We just need to set up a time to talk. Fill out the assessment. Let's set up a time to talk. I can't wait to hear about your company, hear about what you're dreaming in regards to accelerating your business through social or environmental impact. I can't wait. And then from there, we can explore together if this is a program that you would like me to guide you through. In other words, is this going to be good for you? If it's not, you need to know I will be the first one to tell you it's not a fit, because I'm not into wasting your time or mine, all right? So here's the key. First step is this. Go to takethegap.assessment.com, fill that out, and email me. You've got my email there, and let's set up a time to talk. So with that, Sarah, I'd love to just turn it back over to you or Jenna. I'd love to just field any thoughts or questions. I know that was a ton of information. And so that is why you got a guidebook for this workshop. And certainly if there's anything that any of you in the room need me to reference back to, I'm happy to do that. And that's where that phone call can come in too. So Sarah, Jenna, I'll kind of let you take over here.
Thank you so much, Ron. It was a ton of information, but honestly, it was very well laid out, and I understood most of it for sure. And having already been through your process, not the same process, but a similar process with you, if anybody's out there is feeling overwhelmed, don't be overwhelmed by any means, because what you do is really walk everybody each step of the way. And it's much easier than it seems, right? Right. Yeah, it really is only 5 steps. So I'm excited to give it a try and see what your new program's all about.
I'm excited about doing that with you. And yeah. I know we're already set up to talk next week, so that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I guess I got to do my gap assessments quickly.
That's right. Again, it's only 3 minutes, legitimately 3 minutes. So do the first gap assessment, and then you're in the process, right?
Yeah.
Then the journey's begun.
I love it. I actually don't have any questions.
Very good.
Mary had a comment. She just said that this was a terrific approach to business and social responsibility.
Good. Thank you, Mary, for that. Appreciate that. And I saw your thumbs up. I got it. Wonderful. Drew, I'd love to hear some thoughts that you have.
Yeah, no, I love the approach, Ron. I think it's really clearly laid out. I love the piece, especially around like partnering with employees and with customers. I think that's a really unique, interesting approach. And yeah, and the partnership with nonprofits so that it's a mutually beneficial, symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
I love that piece.
Yes.
So yeah, 10 out of 10 in terms of the content and the process. I love what you're laying out there.
Thank you, man. Well, and I think you picked up on something really important, and that is that a lot of companies, here's what they think. They ask this question: what can we do for someone else? And if we're honest, we've all asked that question. I mean, come Thanksgiving or Christmas, what are a lot of family discussions, right? The question is, well, who are we going to serve this season? And that's a good question. The better question, or the next level question, is this: who are we going to serve with? You see, the power of serving isn't, or our impact isn't in who we serve. It's not there. The power of our impact is in who we're serving with, and as a result, inspiring to continue serving. The first one is just, I refer to it as addition. Who I serve, or me plus who I serve, equals 2. It's addition, right? The next one is multiplication. Me, serving with 10 friends, serving 5 families through this nonprofit, that becomes exponential, because then these 5 families or 10 families are like, oh my God, this is absolutely amazing. Like, I've got to do more of this. So you're inspiring others into a lifestyle of being a force for good. You're leading them there, but it all begins with the power of invitation. So I'm glad you picked up on that. I didn't have time to put that sub-talk in this workshop, right? But that actually is whole nother talk I give. The power is in who we serve with. And what better people to serve with than our customers? They already believe in you. Let's build on that. That's when they become raving fans. Before they're customers, then they become raving fans because they know your heart. It's good.
The other thing that really stuck out to me, Ron, from the presentation is you were talking about the wave of this is happening, for social companies are needing to build social impact into their models. And I know from my generation, that is something that is, people are looking at the impact that a company is making when they're making purchasing decisions. And a lot more buying power is coming in. So that was another thing, just that this is coming. And if you're, don't miss the wave, basically.
Right.
This will be more and more important as the years go on.
Yeah, there have been some, I couldn't call them studies, but there have been several articles written in journals about how companies that don't adopt impact strategies today will be out of business within 5 years.
I believe
that is the wave that is coming. And so whether we catch it and ride it, or whether we get pummeled, is totally up to us, right? That's a choice that we make as business leaders. But those are some of the projections based on what you said. And I think, honestly, COVID and what I'm seeing in our culture right now is accelerating that. The needs are so great now that it doesn't matter if it's medical, it doesn't matter if it's food, it doesn't matter if it's unemployment. I mean, we can just go on and on, or the riots or whatever, right? The civil unrest. then it is so in front of us that it is time now more than ever, and consumers know it, for businesses to stand up. But again, going back to the point, businesses can't do it alone. Businesses need great partners or nonprofit partners, just as great nonprofits need great business partners. It all works together. So wonderful. Well, I see that we are like 30 seconds from time. How about that? We kept it under. This is a good thing. Again, Sarah, I just want to say thank you to you and JS Realty for hosting a series of 3 workshops that have been all focused on making your customers' lives better, their businesses better. And again, as I stated at the beginning, I just deeply appreciate the care that you have for people and how you are using your company as a force for good in Northern Virginia, but even through opportunities like this, and we're going to talk about next week, across this country. So thank you. Thank you again for your investment. Jenna, thank you for making it happen. Sarah's vision, Jenna, thank you for making it happen. I've loved the process with you.
This was so much fun. Ron, we should talk about finding other ways to continue to do this. I love doing it with you, and I know the team has enjoyed it as well. So thank you for giving to us and sharing your powerful knowledge and such a streamlined system and just such a decent, easy approach to giving back to the community. So
absolutely. Wonderful. Well, have a great rest of the day, and I look forward to our conversations in follow-up to this. So again, your next step, go to takethegapassessment.com. That's as soon as you hit leave, that's what you go do. 3 minutes. All right. I'll catch you guys later.